Well, unfortunately, that was the Scott plan. That's not a Republican plan. That was the Rick Scott plan.
It's quite another thing for us to just hear Mitch McConnell kill another Republican senator. Kill him.
So Rick Scott's really not back in the fold yet after he ran against you for leadership?
Well, this doesn't have anything to do with that. I mean, it's just a bad idea. I think it will be a challenge for him to deal with this in his own reelection in Florida, a state with more elderly people than any other state in America.
Kill him. Indicating that, he's going to have a tough time getting reelected carrying his own baggage. That's an amazing statement from Mitch McConnell, who knows what he's doing every single second of his professional political life. He knows what he's doing.
President Biden also knows what he's doing, and that means holding up Republican Senator Rick Scott as the face of the GOP.
Senator from Florida wants to put Social Security and Medicare in the chopping block every 5 years. I find to be somewhat outrageous, so outrageous that you might not even believe it. I guarantee you, it will not happen. I will veto it. I know that a lot of Republicans, their dream is to cut Social Security and Medicare. Well, let me say this. If that's your dream, I'm your nightmare.
But again, for Republican Senator Rick Scott, it's a double nightmare, President Biden and Mitch McConnell. President Biden opening fire on a Republican senator is not a big surprise, but when a Republican Senate leader hammers away on another Republican senator or kills him, as Mike Barnacle said, that's huge. Hello, everybody. I'm David Shuster, and thanks for joining us. Republicans are being reminded in brutal political fashion that Social Security and Medicare are highly charged lightning rods. They are deeply popular programs and keep tens of millions of Americans out of poverty. They are also government-run, and that drives Republicans crazy. Many GOP lawmakers simply cannot fathom that a government program, except maybe the U.S. military, would be effective or helpful. So countless Republicans dream of privatizing Social Security and having the money invested by private banks in, say, the stock market. When the stock market drops, as it sometimes does, well, that would just be too bad for seniors who had been depending on their funds. But never mind all of that. Republicans also like to attack Social Security and Medicare over an issue called solvency. To be clear, it is true that within the next decade, with no changes, Social Security will start giving out more money than it will have on hand. Now, according to most Republicans, there are only two ways to fix that and protect the solvency of Social Security. We either have to raise the retirement age or cut benefits. Either approach would cut the amount that Social Security has to pay out. But lost in the GOP claims and fear-mongering over Social Security is another approach, a proposal that actually has broad appeal when it's asked in public polls. The idea is that you increase the amount of money going into Social Security on the front end by having wealthy Americans contribute more. As it stands, only the first $150,000 or so of income is subject to Social Security taxes. If you make $200,000, you pay the same Social Security taxes as somebody with an income of $150,000. Likewise, if your income is $500,000 a year or $1 million or more, you still only pay Social Security taxes on the first $150,000. The ceiling gets raised a little each year to account for inflation. However, a growing number of experts have proposed raising the ceiling to, say, $1 million. By all accounts, somebody who makes $1 million will not have trouble paying their Social Security taxes. But Republicans hate the idea of making the wealthy contribute even more, especially to a government program. So you have a few Republicans like Senator Scott and Senator Mike Lee who propose making changes. And then when President Biden calls them out on their efforts to cut or privatize Social Security, the Republicans say, that's not our plan, that is Senator Scott's plan. Whatever. President Biden is owning the Republicans by highlighting their extreme views. Dirk Brandon? You better believe it. And it's working.